Hi, this is Kim Brownlee, author of Avonwell Bluffs novels, bringing you Beyond the Bluffs. Wipe your eyes, Laura, James said, glancing around the back seat. Yes, Father, Laura said, giving an embarrassed glance at the strangers who squeezed into the back seat with her. She wiped her eyes on the already soaked handkerchief and turned to look out the window of the vineyards they were passing. It was the summer of 1905, and 7-year-old Billy Neville had found himself in very different circumstances than he was accustomed to, riding in the back of a motor car on their way to their new home in Avonwell Bluffs. He looked up at his mother Viola, who squeezed his hand silently. Only the very wealthy had motor cars in those days, and this was the first one he had ever seen. This particular one belonged to the driver, Wells Avonwell, one of his father's new bosses. So Billy found himself on a very long drive with these wealthy strangers. Occasionally he would look at these strange men and wonder why and how they ended up traveling with them. Billy's mother Viola was on one side of him and James's daughter was on the other. She had been crying when they arrived in Abbott's Ridge, and she was still crying even as they neared the end of their journey, making their lengthy trip rather awkward. That was the summer that Billy's life would change forever, when he became best friends with Frank Avonwell and Mary Cook, children of the men who brought his family to Avonwell Bluffs. Aside from the two massive mansions that would not be ignored, one of the first things that Billy noticed was the thickly wooded area behind his house. These woods were the only thing that separated the two mansions, and a path had been cut through it a decade earlier with 3 entrances so that the families could have easy access to each other and the vineyards. One entrance was the back of the Cook home, and another was at the side of the Avonwell home. And as Billy looked into the entrance at the back of his small house, he wondered what he might find there. "Billy!" Tom shouted. Billy's thoughts were immediately interrupted by the angry voice, something he had known his entire life. He turned to see his father standing in the doorway at the back of the house, whiskey bottle in hand, one thing that he was familiar with that evening. "Get in here and eat." Billy would much rather be with his new friend Frank in his playroom. He had never seen anything so magnificent. "Did you hear me, boy? Are you even listening to me?" his father yelled. "Yes, sir," Billy complied, discarding his thoughts at the entrance of the path. All right, that's all for now. I'll see you next time. Beyond the Bluffs.